Welcome to season 1 of Top Crop.
We found out that the ground is alive.
Trying to get done a little quicker and trying to simplify things a little bit.
You know, there's only so much money to go around. I look for big wins.
Today is September 7th, 2023. We're going to walk some cornfields. Normally by this time we are harvesting, but with the late season, we're just now getting the chance to look at some corn. Today we get to look at some special corn here. We're going to look at Pioneer 20-inch row plot that we have out here. And today we have Troy Putnam, Pioneer, and Doug Coe with Gus and Seed. So we're all going to go out here and see probably about 8 to 10 different hybrids and see what we think of them.
It's number 2, it's not the first one, but...
Oh, he's got the sheet.
Oh. I've got the sheet in my truck.
Oh.
Okay, I got another stake here. You want me to go down and find 5.3, Cory?
No, we got plenty of 5.3.
Okay.
What would be a new number that not a lot of people have?
Let's come down to 10.811 or 13.83.
Okay.
I'll find them.
And then we got the 114 one down on the end, and then you put the new 114 around the whole field, didn't you, Cory?
So every stake will be in the left-hand range of 18 rows. So that's 0924 going that way, triple chrome. On the triple side, we go to Vorseed and List in the future. The technology pipeline moves to Vorseed in our triple, and with that comes additional blackworm, cutworm control, and the addition of Enlist herbicide traits plus the FOP herbicides. So
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's come over here a little bit and we'll go on in.
Okay. So this stuff is about third milk line.
Yep.
About right there. So, you know, you start thinking how fast we're going to push the black layer in this heat. It's going to move pretty good. This hybrid is a high yielding triple for us, and it's also the one thing I do like about it. It's genetically predisposed to throwing lots of rows around. Did you count? What'd you get, Cory?
16, I think.
Yeah, 16 to 18 around. So very adaptable, high yielding triple in the 109-day chrome package that we're using in a non-GMO. We're using it as a triple. It's very healthy. It's good out of the ground. And I think is the purpose of doing a 20-inch corn plot with Cory and Pioneer together and Doug with his agency is that we're trying to determine, okay, what hybrids are adapted better to narrow rows? How do they perform when we push them to higher populations in narrow rows? And so this plot is like a second year. 2 years ago, we had a really nice plot out, and tornado decided to change our attitude on that.
Yeah.
So the data wasn't any good. So this year we tried to do a little different twist on it, do a variable rate script with all these hybrids on different populations with the idea we're going to try to max out yield and see how they respond. So Cory, I don't know if what you've seen, what you think about all that, just point out
Well,
here.
the variable rate here is, you know, going to be from 37 to 41. We're definitely in the higher population, the 41,000. So the first thing that I want to see here, you know, tip back. What did we leave on the table? Was it too much population? Was it not enough? And with that much tip back, I like that. That means we hit it pretty darn close. So 41,000 this hybrid can definitely handle. Stretched out a little bit. I mean, that's a little pretty good height.
Yeah.
For, this is a 108 day?
109 day. And remind us of the planting date again, Cory.
This would have been May 18th.
Right. And
So
we planted it all one afternoon, went in really well. The ground conditions were perfect. And the interesting thing that happened after that period of time in May, we did slip off into a dry period for 2 or 3 weeks where we saw low humidity, we saw wind, and we saw dry conditions. So the hybrid, they emerged well. They still came up in light of that because of the conditions. And so as I stand out here and look at the disease pressure, very little showing. Happy with what the hybrid's showing under that population. And I agree with what Cory's saying. I've got 16 around here, and just wonderful setup on yield potential.
Then the next thing, you know, I'm looking at would be the ear leaf. So I like how it's upright, and I like how wide it is.
It's wide.
I mean, that's a wide
Little
leaf
sun
blade
catchers.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you look down on the ground here, we haven't had rain in over 10 days. We've been 90 degrees for 5 of those days. And what do we see here?
See moisture.
See moisture.
We're protecting it. The other thing about, I like to call these babies solar panels, and when we can have a solar panel that's up, we're catching sunlight, we're making bushels, because that whole process of photosynthesis, making sugars, turning it into to sink into that ear, things look really good out here in that respect. So I agree, Cory. It looks like the nutrients have been fed right on time, and so the yield potential, it's exciting. It's been an exciting year in this part of the world in my mind.
It has. It's just, you know, September 7th, we're normally looking at brown corn and it's from the seed of a combine, and here we are walking and it's green, and it's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather be harvesting it, but
We might be eating turkey in the field this year.
well, we had to be patient this spring. We're just going to have to be patient this fall.
The hardest part about that, Cory, is, you know, we wouldn't make good doctors because we really don't have much patience as farmers in a lot of ways, and
No,
so
no, but sometimes we got to be.
We're going to learn a lot.
In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. You know, if we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year.
Next probably will be a V10 Valtima application.
It's so much more than fungicide.
Goes above and beyond disease control.
Really like the BASF fungicides.
It's a stress mitigator, it's plant health. We have applied a toad on this farm, you know.
Done a great job for me.
Definitely money made.
Yeah, absolutely. See how green this still is?
That's right. It's never too early to be talking about a program anymore.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
So this is the field that we had to replant on, and we had one flood in April. Got the crop going strong, and then all of a sudden we got a second flood again. It would have been about June 15th. We'd been dry a little while, had a bunch of rain come through. I think that rainfall was about 7 or 8 inches, which is absurd. But I mean, even with the cover crops we're doing and increasing the soil aggregation and increasing water infiltration rates, you can't do anything with actually running water. But I mean, we've got a lot of crop. You know, these rows, they'll still make a viable ear, but the yield on this will probably be off 60–70%. And yeah, I mean, if you look right behind you, you can see where the water went down the ditch line here, and look at the height of the corn, how it just drops off, and then about 10 feet over. We just had so much water ponded and setting on here for probably about 7 or 8 days that there's a large area here that it just killed all the corn, and then it cuts back over that direction. I mean, we probably lost a 1/4 acre or better in this section, and then there's another one probably back about another 100 yards. There's another little 1/4 or 1/2 acre back there. So it's one of those things, you just got to deal with it. We know that we were flushing nitrogen out with all that water. I would say the farm average, I'm still looking for something around that 250, 300. That's what we're shooting for. But you know, for 2 floods, a replant, that's still not too bad. So we'll continue to work at it. We hit tassel probably within the last, I would say the last 3 or 4 days. Full field was tasseled out. Hopefully, you know, we'll have the drone come up and we'll get our Valtima put on this corn. We've seen some gray leaf spot in the area. We've also, you know, like I said before, southern rust. It'll be moving up this way probably here within the next week or so, based on weather patterns. And so we'll go ahead and start looking at protecting that end of the season and get that sprayed. We'll do our foliars, and then hopefully we'll make another shot R2 going into R3. We'll come back in with our foliar program that we tried out last year and saw really good results with. Not giving up on that corn crop essentially at VT or R1, but continuing that all the way to R5. And now it's getting dry and cracking. This has been the year of the extreme, whether it's for whatever reason in soybeans. A lot of farmers around here have contended with morning glory and mare's tail. That's been the extreme in beans. In corn, it's either been extremely wet or extremely dry. The weather hadn't been too terribly hot yet. I mean, we've had some days in the mid 90s, but you know, even the stuff that's came down, we've had the smoke come down from Canada, which probably set us back on some of our GDUs. But right now in Tassel, today it's supposed to be about 85 to 90 degrees. We've got a little bit of moisture still left in the bank. There's some rain showers called for this weekend. So I mean, if we can pick up some of these timely rains and keep the temperatures below that, usually around 90, 95 degrees, we'll get good pollination and start looking at ear feel and adding on test weight later in the season. I guess because I'm first generation, maybe I don't understand this, but I guess the NCGA is the holy grail for everybody. I was really hopeful that we would have an NCGA entry this year, and we're looking at a way to do that. But when you're picking 6 rows and skipping 18 and picking 6 rows and skipping 18, our 18 rows, I can show you, I mean, we've got them marked off. I can show you the 6 plants it's literally going to run through this area. It just really wouldn't be a good entry. We're trying a few different things on this farm. The 6 rows over here behind us, we ran our normal fertility program, and then we tried a couple rows, couple planter passes that we added in some different biologicals in furrow. We've seen some really good success out of putting a little bit more biologicals in furrow than we do fertility. It just seems the plant's getting off a little bit better, and the fact that we've got the new culture bar that we can run fertility ahead of planting, it just means that we can cut back on the number of refills that we're having to do with the planter, which helps us speed up a little bit, kind of breaking that up. And it's kind of nice. I mean, March, there's really not a lot to do, so we can get out here with the fertilizer bar, February or March, depending on weather, get that fertility out, kind of change it up. But you can see, I mean, we start where we're doing some of these biologicals. You can see a really big plant height difference and plant health where we're adding some of these in. We'll see how it correlates to yield.
Farmers deserve a nitrogen that works as hard as they do, one that stays with the crop until the job is done. It's time to turn to a better nitrogen with Pivot Bio.
Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our 3rd year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. Clearly we've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season. In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. You know, if we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year.
As I look at a wider geography in southern Ohio, and by that I'm saying south of I-70, that's pretty much my territory. It's exciting to think that we have both corn yields set up where they are and soybeans. And so I think fall is going to be a bit delayed, and you know, at some point we probably need to talk about the smoke and what play it had and all that. And did that actually delay things? And you think about the smoke that came from Canada, and it's been a big question. Did it do anything? Well, anytime we cause an interference to sunlight, sun flow to the plant, something's going to give. I do think that at this point we're probably 90, and you and I were talking, Corey, about a 12-year average on my data, 90 to 120 heat units behind normal. You said on a 5-year average it was how much?
386.
So 386 on the heat. Now solar radiation is different. I ran a map the other day, and you could see solar radiation going up like this, and then when the smoke came in from Canada, it went right down below the 10-year average and stayed there for several days. What that can do is You're reducing sunlight. The plant's going to make bushels. Did it cause anything to cannibalize from the plant? That's yet to be told, but I'm optimistic. Very little influence at all. But obviously, increase in ozone, increase in soil radiation, decrease in soil radiation, I should say, and then just an overall reduction in sunlight for a couple periods of time. But by and large, so far, so good.
Now I've got one more question for you, just because, you know, it is a record year for another crop. I just want to know if you've ever seen correlation to that. But I don't have any wheat, but I know a lot of growers around here that have had wheat.
Yeah.
For the state of Ohio, this is probably by far the highest yielding wheat crop I've ever seen taken off.
Cory, without a question, in all the years I've done this, this is the highest yielding wheat year that I've ever had. And the only thing, three things, Doug, you and I've talked about this a little bit. I think this is what happens when a wheat crop matures instead of dies. You'll remember we cooled off a little bit in the middle of grain fill, or before or after that period of time, and it was more European. It was more of a longer grain fill, Cory. And I think we allowed the crop to mature naturally, and we gave it time to fill, and we have very little disease pressure. And that's a perfect trifecta for wheat yields. And so I think it was fun.
Oh.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And it was very fun. Good question.
That's the nice thing about being on top crop here. We can be in the middle of a cornfield and talk about wheat, soybeans, whatever the heck we want.
Doesn't matter, does it?
Don't matter. Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our third year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. Clearly we've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
About 3 or 4 days ago, we came out, went through a couple areas, picked 20 random ears, started counting them up, and on average we were seeing 18 by 44s, 18 by 46s. Had a couple that we saw some 20s, like 20 by 44s. We're typically always seeing just a little bit of tip back, which if you're seeing about a 1/4 inch of tip back, that means that you really did maximize your nitrogen use efficiency. And so when we're looking at ears this time of year, we'll count to the end and then go back 4. So we don't count the last 4. That's kind of like bonus if you end up making those. But this plant stand here was planted at 44,500 plants, which is pretty daggum thick. It's a really good flex variety. I mean, if you want to look at stalk, out of these 7 stalks right here, we do have one that's a little bit smaller, probably germinated just a little bit later than the ones around it, but we've got pretty good stalk stands as far as diameter and strength. Crown roots are coming in really good. Just some of the things we're looking at, having that second flood probably pushed this population a little bit too hard this year. This plant has been through a lot more stress this year than we had in 2022, but can't predict the weather. We just try to do the best we can. That's my plot marker. We were dog tired by the time we got done. We wanted to see how far we could push boron this year, and got some granulibore. I actually wanted to see if we could put some dry granulibore, because one of the things we're looking at with drone application is putting out a little bit of AMS and some boron late season, right before R1. Had an issue with the drone, couldn't get it out here in time, and so for us to do our plot, we actually did 4 acres by hand. Where we had the fertilizer blended up, the old trusty bucket. People might make fun of us because we do things the hard way, but it's the way that we learn, and then we can utilize the technology next year. But I mean, just looking at essentially going over, these plants definitely seem to have a lot better green color to them. We've got really good ear set, plant height. Most of these have singles. You can go in here in the middle. We'll have a few that are setting double ears. Last year we even had some triples that made it viable. Not seeing deficiencies in the plant yet. That's one of the things is we'll get out here and continue to scout and see if we're seeing disease move in. Scout often, scout early. It's kind of the motto, but see how it turns out. This is, we shut off the planter for about 1,000 feet and didn't run the in-furrow in the 2x2. Just see what it would do. We'll wait and pull some ears and see what they look like, but we've already seen some deficiencies in the plant, and just not having that turned on the planter for just 1,000 feet has really made a pretty big difference in crop height, color, deficiencies. And it's just one of those things, it's when you're trying new products, see what they're doing with it and without it. I mean, you got to turn it off for at least a little bit, and that's why we picked like a field edge over here that, you know, we're not in the tree line, but this is our last run on this side of the field, so it's a good area for us to see what's going to happen. I learned more from spec scripts than I have from any publication. That's all it takes. So on that whole field, we'll put 9 grams of that. It's nickel sulfate. The University of Iowa did a 20-year study. Nickel sulfate helped with stress management, and based on the 20 years, you can retain 10 to 15% better pods with nickel sulfate, 1 gram to the acre. It costs us about 22 cents an acre for this. Buy it off of Amazon. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is when you're making multiple passes, you don't have to use a lot of product. You break it up into smaller doses and keep it more at a balance.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our 3rd year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. We've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season. In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. You know, if we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year.
If anybody's got any questions for the show, feel free to leave us a comment, and we'll try to get to everybody we can.